Deep in the ancient past, long before the founding of Rome, there existed an age of peace, prosperity, and joy. People lived in harmony with nature. There was no hunger or want. Every day was filled with laughter and celebration. No wars were fought, no battles raged. It was an idyllic time, a paradise on earth. And it was all thanks to the blessings of Saturn. So, who was Saturn? What was so special about him? And what happened to this golden age that seems almost too perfect to be true? Join us today as we unlock the secrets of one of the most fascinating figures in Roman mythology and explore the legendary golden age of Saturn. Who is Saturn? To understand the significance of Saturn in Roman mythology, we must first delve into his origins and explore his connection to the Greeks. See, Saturn wasn't just any ordinary being. He was the father of the gods and the titan of time. As such, he was revered as the supreme ruler of the cosmos during the Golden Age, a period of great prosperity and abundance for all living things. But you might be wondering, wait a minute, didn't the Greeks also have a similar god named Cronus? Well, yes, they did. In fact, Cronus was Saturn's counterpart in Greek mythology. But although they shared many similarities, there were also some key differences between them. You see, Cronus was the leader of the Titans, a race of deities who ruled the earth before the Olympian gods. He was known for his wisdom, his strength, and his ability to shape the future by devouring his children. Yes, you heard that right. Cronus was infamous for swallowing his 5 children, each of whom was destined to overthrow him. This dark aspect of his character set him apart from his Roman equivalent. On the other hand, Saturn was not only a god of agriculture and harvest, but also a symbol of abundance, wealth, and good fortune. Unlike Cronus, Saturn was not associated with deceit or treachery. Instead, he was seen as a benevolent and generous ruler who showered his blessings on all living things. This positive image of Saturn was further reinforced by his association with the Golden Age, a mythical period of great happiness and prosperity. It was believed that during Saturn's reign, the world was perfect. There was no suffering, no pain, no evil. People lived simple and pure lives, free from the worries and troubles of the modern world. They were content with what they had and appreciated the beauty of life. It was a time when humans lived in harmony with nature, and all their needs were met without struggle or strife. This golden age, however, was not to last, and Saturn's reign came to an end when his son Jupiter took over. Nevertheless, Saturn's legacy lived on through the Romans. In their minds, he became a symbol of justice, order, and the ideal ruler. He represented the best qualities of Roman society, including its respect for tradition, its dedication to duty, and its pursuit of excellence. Saturn was also closely associated with the Roman state. He was considered the protector of Rome and its citizens, and he was invoked for help in times of trouble. His presence was felt throughout Roman life, and his influence can be seen in the art, literature, and architecture of the Roman world. In fact, the Romans celebrated Saturn with one of their biggest festivals, Saturnalia. Imagine, if you will, the year is 19 BC. Every December, the streets of Rome lit up with fires, music, and laughter that echoed into the night skies. Homes and public places were decorated with greenery, and people of all ages, from the youngest child to the oldest senator, were caught up in the spirit of the season. For this was the time of Saturnalia, a week-long festival dedicated to the god Saturn. During this time, the usual rules of Roman society were turned upside down. Slaves were temporarily freed from their chains and given the opportunity to enjoy the pleasures of freedom. Masters, in turn, had to serve their slaves and wait on them hand and foot. It was a joyous occasion, a chance for everyone to experience life in a different way and to celebrate the blessings of Saturn. You might be wondering why such a seemingly trivial matter as the temporary liberation of slaves would cause such a stir among the Romans. Well, the answer lies in the deep social and political significance of Saturnalia. You see, slavery was an integral part of Roman society. In fact, at the time, it was estimated that there were around 3 million slaves in Rome alone. These slaves were considered property, and their owners had absolute power over them. They could buy, sell, or even torture them without fear of reprisal. This system of slavery was not only morally reprehensible, but it also had far-reaching consequences for Roman society as a whole. It created a vast chasm between the rich and the poor, and it led to widespread poverty and inequality. However, Saturnalia provided a much-needed respite from the harsh realities of Roman life. During this festival, the roles were reversed, and the slaves were given a taste of freedom. This allowed them to experience life on the other side of the tracks and to see the world through the eyes of their masters. It was a humbling experience that reminded the Romans of the importance of treating others with respect and dignity. Moreover, Saturnalia was a time for feasting, drinking, and merrymaking. It was a chance for people to let loose and enjoy themselves without the constraints of Roman etiquette and tradition. In a society that was so heavily reliant on hierarchy and social order, this was a rare and precious commodity. Saturnalia offered a brief but glorious glimpse of a world where everyone was equal and where all could enjoy the fruits of their labor. So why was Saturn so important to the Romans? The answer lies in his ability to represent the best and worst of humanity, the capacity for greatness and the inevitability of decline. Saturn was a symbol of the Roman ideal, the vision of a world where order and justice prevailed and where all citizens had the opportunity to reach their full potential. However, he also represented the danger of complacency and the risk of losing what had been achieved through hard work and sacrifice. In Saturn, the Romans saw both the promise of a better future and the warning of a darker present, the end of the Golden Age. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the Titan in the Olympus. You see, Saturn's rule didn't last forever. His son, Jupiter, eventually took over and ushered in a new era. But how did this happen, and what was so significant about this change? Well, you see, according to Roman mythology, Saturn was overthrown by his son Jupiter, who was the embodiment of law and order. Saturn's reign marked a period of great prosperity and abundance, but it also saw the emergence of social inequality and injustice. As the father of the gods, Saturn had sired many children with his wife Ops, and these children grew up to become powerful deities in their own right. However, fearing that they would usurp his power, he made a habit of devouring them as soon as they were born. This dark and disturbing practice ensured that none of his children would grow up to challenge his authority. One day, Ops gave birth to Jupiter, and she was determined to protect her youngest son from his father's terrible habit. She tricked Saturn into believing that Jupiter was a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes, and he happily devoured the rock. Instead, Jupiter was smuggled away to a secret cave on the island of Crete, where he was raised in secrecy by nymphs. When Jupiter reached adulthood, he grew to become a handsome and charismatic god, and he soon assembled a group of loyal followers, including his brothers Neptune and Pluto. Together, they launched a war against the Titans, a race of powerful beings who had been ruling the cosmos before the Olympians. The war between the Olympians and the Titans was a fierce and brutal battle that lasted for 10 years. Finally, the Olympians emerged victorious, and the Titans were banished to the underworld. With his enemies defeated, Jupiter assumed the role of supreme ruler of the cosmos, and he established his court on Mount Olympus. He divided the universe among his siblings, with Neptune taking control of the seas and Pluto ruling the underworld. So, what does this mean for us? Why should we care about the ancient myths and legends of the Romans? Well, it means that we have a choice to make. Will we follow in the footsteps of Saturn and embrace abundance, equality, and peace? Or will we heed the warning of Jupiter's rise and strive to uphold justice, order, and the common good? As we reflect on the lessons of Roman mythology, we must remember that we are not mere spectators in the drama of life. We are active participants who have the power to shape our own destiny. Whether we choose to embrace the ideals of Saturn or the values of Jupiter is up to us. But one thing is for sure, the dream of a golden age, a time of peace, and prosperity for all will continue to capture the human imagination for as long as we live. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of Roman mythology, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, because we have so many more stories to tell. Thanks for watching.